Well, Razorback fans, it's a question I am sure you have asked yourself, and I think it's a question that's worth discussing here today. Will the Razorbacks ever win a title again? Let's talk about it on today's Locked On Razorbacks podcast.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. I am your host, John Nabors. I am also the host of Inside Arkansas Live, which you can catch every weekday starting at noon on Inside Arkansas and InsideArkansas.com. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. As I know, we're turning the page and getting ready for some off season. I know everyone's excited about college football, hopefully. But we'll be kind of moving towards that. SEC Football Media Days is coming up here in just a few weeks, which I'll be at, and it'll be really fun. So we'll have some discussions dealing with football, and we'll also get into some baseball news, and even some basketball news, some Pro Hogs news today here on the podcast. But I maybe have done a podcast like this before, and I wanted to kind of bring it back out for this particular occasion. Because yesterday people got to see the LSU Tigers win the College World Series. It's the second one for Jay Johnson over at LSU. He's been to the College World Series pretty much only twice, and he's won a title every time he's gone, it seems like. So, yeah, it's just another thing, you know. I see the stats where Arkansas has lost to the eventual champs in postseason play. I believe it's four of the last 5 times they've been to the College World Series. They ended up losing to the eventual champs that the Arkansas has been. And it just hit me yesterday when seeing LSU and hearing about LSU and winning that title, which is one of many of their titles. It just kind of rubs me the wrong way of just like, really? They got multiple ones. You know, they got 2 in the past few years. And it frustrates me because I'm like, what do they got? You know, what do they got talent. There's no doubt. They got good coaching. There's no doubt. But why are they able to do it multiple times? And Arkansas is still waiting on it. Some of you have maybe already thought that it's never going to happen, that Arkansas is never going to win a title. And when I say title, folks, by the way, I need to make sure I'm clear on this. I'm not talking about just in any sport. And this is no disrespect to any of the other sports. I'm just talking about the 3 major sports of football, men's basketball, and baseball. Those are the 3 big ones. Those are the ones that garner the most attention. Not to say that if softball ever wins one, it won't be a big deal, because it will be. Or any other sport, gymnastics, and I think track. I mean, they do it every year. But I'm talking about in the 3 major sports, because this is a stat, this is a thing I do not want to pass along to all of you. But since the turn of the century, 2000, every team in the SEC has won a national championship in one of the 3 major sports, except for 3. All but 3 teams in the current SEC have won a championship in one of the major sports, one of the 3 major sports, since 2000. Texas A&M, although they did win a women's basketball title, but Texas A&M, Missouri, and Arkansas. Those are the only 3 teams. That hits a little bit different, because it's not like you aren't competitive in at least 2 of those 3 sports. In fact, you could make the argument that in 2 of those 3 sports, you are top tier. In basketball, you're top tier, and in baseball, you're top tier. You have Hall of Fame coaches. You have had a lot of success. You've been close, or at least in baseball for sure, you've been close, but no cigar. Here you are, still waiting, while every other team in the SEC has one. That sucks. just to put it mildly. That sucks. So things like that make it really tough to kind of wrap your head around and think, is this ever going to work out? Is it ever going to happen? Is it going to happen in my lifetime? Well, let me be clear. I believe so. I believe it will happen. You're just knocking on the door. It's a matter of getting everything to go your way, which is tough. But the odds are in your favor. I mean, for baseball-wise, you have everything that you need. Basketball-wise, you have everything that you need. It's just a matter of putting it all together and getting a little luck your way and popping off and having it happen. But I was talking with some friends who aren't necessarily Razorback fans. And it's amazing how much of their tone almost changed in how they view Razorback sports, because they come from like me or my Razorback friends. We just talk about how it's a curse. There's problems. It's always us. We suck. And in those situations, like the sports gods don't like us. And they're just like, come on, relax. It's not that big of a deal. It's hard to win a title, blah, blah, blah. And then they see something like what happened in the College World Series, and they're like, yeah, maybe there's something to it. Maybe there's some truth to that. And so it starts to really come across to me that there are a lot of things that have to go right, but they've gone right for others. And why? And so why is that? What is Arkansas doing wrong? What is it that they're missing? What's the problem? Because I don't think there is one. I mean, football is another animal. I'm mainly talking about the two major sports, but specifically baseball. It's like, what is keeping you from winning a title? Everybody else seems to have fun. Everybody else seems to have at least one. You know? All the other kids at school got picked up by their parents in the after-school program. They get to head home and have a party while you're just sitting there by yourself on the big toy, wondering if your parents left you or forgot about you, or you're just stranded. Everybody else is having a good time, and you just get to sit there, not knowing about what the future holds, not knowing if it'll ever happen. And I get it. I get that sentiment. But I am always going to remain hopeful, optimistic, and positive. Why? Because if I ever stopped having hope or belief that that could happen, then why am I a fan? What's the point of that? If I did not believe Arkansas could win a title in my lifetime in the three major sports, why am I a fan? Like that, it just has a reality check to me, if just in the way that it's approached, to where I'm not going to be a fan anymore if I ever stop that belief. And I don't think any of you want to stop that. You can make your jokes. You can say, we're all cursed, like all these things. But you're still going to deep down in your hardest of heart believes that it's going to be our time sometime. It's going to be our day. We're going to have things go right for us for a change. We're going to have it all come together when we least expect it. We're going to win a title. That's why you keep going to the games. That's why you keep supporting the team. I keep listening to Locked On Razorbacks. It's because you believe. You have hope. That's one of my favorite movies in Shawshank Redemption. Talks about hope is a good thing, the best of things. With a great thing, it never dies. Something like that. I probably just butchered that quote. But something to that extent. Point is, it's a great thing to have that hope. Because you believe on the other side of it that it will happen. It will come together. And just think about the feeling you'll have when you witness that. A lot of you listening may remember in 1994, the national championship. A lot of you do. And you remember that feeling. That was big time. Thank goodness for that 1994 national championship, because I don't know what Razorback fans would be doing if it wasn't for that. I don't know how they'd view themselves if it wasn't for that. But I believe it'll happen. Will it be baseball? Will it be basketball? I'll take either one or both. Both would be cool. I wouldn't mind both. But I believe it's going to happen, folks. It's tough to really believe in that maybe right now. But if you have the right pieces in place, the right foundation, at some point in time, you're going to break through. And it's a matter of this simple question I'll ask you all, and then we'll move on to something a lot more cooler. But here's my question I'll ask you. Since we're specifically talking about baseball, and we can even throw basketball in there. Does Razorback basketball have everything they need to win a championship? Do they have a coach? Yeah. I mean, guys won one before. Do they have NIL, funding, facilities, fan support, players? Yeah, they got all of it. Check, 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 check. So, yeah, they have all they need. Baseball? Absolutely. They got the facilities. They got the recruiting. They got the coaching. They got everything. So, if you have all the things that you need, it's just a matter of it happening. I just don't want 2018 to ever be remembered as the one chance. But that was it. I refuse to believe that. It's going to happen one day. I promise you. Don't know how soon. Maybe after I'm dead and gone for all I know. But it's going to happen soon. It will happen soon. Believe in that. Big news for Wehiva Aloy as he wins the Golden Spikes Award, the Heisman Trophy of college baseball. We'll talk about that coming up next, so stay with us here on Locked On Razorbacks podcast. All right, Razorback fans, summer sports are in full swing, and whether you know all about the baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game much more exciting. You're already following the action, so why not make it a little bit more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned on the beach. You know, FanDuel, it makes it easy to use. It's a fast payout and makes even the regular season games feel like those must-watch events. Whether you're placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet right into the ninth inning, FanDuel makes it feel like you are a part of the action. New to FanDuel? New customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. All right, so moving on into the next segment of the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Okay, so Wehiva Aloy, congratulations to him. He did it. He won the Golden Spikes Award. I love this, for one. Like, I think it's amazing that he was able to do what he did in the manner that he did it, and being the third now Golden Spikes winner for Arkansas in the past decade. 3 out of the last 10 have been from the University of Arkansas, joining Andrew Benintendi from 2015 and Kevin Kopps at 2021, which I kind of find like ironic and funny that Dave Van Horn at Arkansas has had 3 Golden Spikes winners, but only 2 SEC Players of the Year. Go figure. You feel like if you're the Golden Spikes winner, you would also be SEC Player of the Year. Kind of adds up, but that's neither here nor there. Either way, he was able to beat out the Florida State shortstop, as well as Liam Doyle from Tennessee, the pitcher. And he was Arkansas's 5th finalist for the award and the 4th Razorback finalist in the Dave Van Horn era. I guess pitcher Philip Stidham was a finalist in 1991, and Hagen Smith was a finalist just a year ago. So think about that. You want to win the championships, of course. But think about just in the past few years, you had Kevin Kopps win it, you had Hagen Smith become a finalist, and then you have Wehiva Aloy win it. That's a 4-year span right there. Boom, boom, boom. So it just goes to show you the type of players that can come to Arkansas and the type of success that comes along with it. And Arkansas also becomes the fourth school in the country and the only SEC program in Golden Spikes Award history to boast 3 or more award winners. Florida State has 4, Arizona State has 3, Cal State Fullerton has 3. So another little cool, impressive thing. Which also shout out that Arkansas had the SEC Player of the Years and also the Golden Spikes Award winners for both Wehiva, Aloy, and Bree Ellis. Like baseball, softball. Pretty cool stuff. So either way, it was awesome to see Aloy get this praise and this credit, where he was able to have, this is the 47th winner, by the way, but he was able to have one of the best offensive campaigns in Razorback history. He had a slugging percentage of .673, on-base slugging of 1.107, 93 hits, 81 runs scored, 19 doubles, 2 triples, and 21 home runs. He had 42 extra base hits, 30 multi-hit games, and 179 total bases. Just incredible. Incredible. He was also batted .350 on the year, 68 RBIs, 18 multi-RBI games, 10 hit by pitches, and 9 stolen bases. I think the most surprising thing was the 9 stolen bases to me, because I was like, yeah, I remember him stealing some, but I didn't remember him stealing 9. But pretty impressive venture for him. And it's unfortunate because he's moving on. I mean, not surprising. He'll be a top draft pick, and rightfully so. I mean, the guy's incredible. He's just a gifted athlete and an absolute specimen. And I feel like from the perspective of when I remember of Wehiva Lloyd coming in, I remember talking to some Razorback baseball players, and all of them were just going on about this kid. And, of course, the national news about college baseball was going on about, hey, this is a huge get for Arkansas. This dude is next level good. And after what it was a year ago, it's not that he had a bad year. It just wasn't the year that I think everyone was expecting. You know, it's like kind of like, okay, well, yeah, I mean, he was solid, but, you know, we thought he was going to be this next big thing. Well, I don't know if you knew this, but it's a thing called development that happened. And Arkansas ended up putting him in a great position to succeed. I mean, it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy, too. I mean, he is somebody that is just completely and totally locked in and focused, and he's, was never a guy to be showboating. And in a time where college baseball players in general, if they're really gifted and they're really talented, especially hitters, they love to show it. They love to have people know about it. Some people love it, some people hate it. But I think it's something to be said that in this current climate of college baseball, to have somebody like Aloy do what he did with the numbers that he had, and not really one time ever, do the stuff where they make a fool of themselves and end up acting like a fool, and all of that just really shows his character. He's like, he didn't need any of that stuff. He didn't need to have that crazy mindset, psychopath type stuff running through his veins. He just went out and played. So definitely going to be remembered as one of the all-time greats, and perhaps the greatest run that you'll see, because not only was he able to get to the College World Series, but also able to win these awards and to have the numbers that he did, and bouncing and improving and everything. And especially in the College World Series, it's not like he didn't show up for that. Like he played really well in the College World Series. So congrats, Wehiva Aloy. You're going to be missed, man. I mean, everybody knows that you're going to be moving on. Again, couldn't happen to a nicer guy, nicer family. And, who knows, maybe Kahio, his brother, who I know had a pretty solid season, maybe at the end kind of teetered off a little bit, but maybe he can make up for it and have another Golden Spikes Award winning season next year. Who knows? I don't want to put that pressure on him. But the point is that it's awesome. Congrats to him. And he's definitely going to be remembered as one of the all-time greats in Razorback baseball history. Speaking of greats, how about some former greats? You had a couple of former Razorback basketball players win the NBA title last night. I know you may not like the NBA, but you'll care about this. Stay with us here on Locked On Razorbacks podcast. All right, so final segment here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. So last night, the Oklahoma City Thunder won the NBA title. Game 7 in the finals. And some of you may have watched it. Some of you may not. Some of you probably didn't care. Whatever. And that's fine. I mean, I know we don't exactly talk a whole lot of NBA. But I will say it was really cool to see two former Razorbacks get NBA rings. And it seems like that is something that is happening a lot more often now than what it ever did. Just here recently, Moses Moody has an NBA title. Bobby Portis, NBA title. You had Jordan Walsh last year with an NBA title. Now you got Jalen Williams and Isaiah Joe, the OKC Thunder, winning an NBA title. Like, those are the things that really help with, of course, recruiting and all of that. And I know that sometimes, it's not about the playing time and everything, but just to think the way that Arkansas has been able to put guys in the league and be on teams and stay on teams and have roster spots and be able to contribute to really great teams is an awesome feeling. It's an awesome thing. Because, for a while there, I felt like in the NBA, Arkansas had like two former players. Patrick Beverly seemed to be always one of them. And then like Bobby Portis was there. But you think about all those players. And then, Daniel Gafford just a couple years ago was in the NBA Finals with the Mavericks. So to have as many players that you do from Arkansas in the NBA, as well as on top of that, being able to be on really good teams, possibly win titles, play for titles, all of those things, it's nothing but a great thing for you. It's nothing but a great thing for the school. It's great for Cal. It's great for everybody. And those two individuals especially, it couldn't have happened to a greater couple of guys, because I'm not saying that they're better in this regard, but it's always cooler when you see the local kids from Arkansas who grew up Razorback fans, both of them from Fort Smith Northside. Both of them played on the same team for a split second. And it's like, man, just how, like, the odds of that happening. Fort Smith and Fort Smith Northside, it's not like they've just been some scrub program, but to have two bona fide NBA dudes who both played at Arkansas, had a lot of success in their 2 years, and then go on to the NBA to play on the same team and be a part of that team when they win a title, the likelihood is just unreal. But I'm happy for them. Couldn't happen to better representatives of the University of Arkansas as well as the state of Arkansas. And hopefully there's next year another couple former Hogs can win an NBA title. I'll just take one because that's probably more likely, but still, it's a cool thing, and those guys are great. So celebrate it and enjoy it. In fact, I saw a video of Jalen Williams where he was trying his first beer and he did not like it. So yeah, we'll see about that. But either way, appreciate each and every one of you listening in and watching into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or on Google Play. You can also get after me on Twitter at John Nabors Show for any questions, comments, concerns that you may have. We'll keep it going from there. Same podcast time, same podcast channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you then.